much for joining us during this momentary distraction of simple amusements and magic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is having a good time on this Thursday evening. I'm looking over at the comments right now. I see a few friends, Micah, Jessica, Frank, and Nick. I hope everyone is having a good time. And hello to you guys out there. My name is Chris Heron. I am your host tonight, and I can't wait to introduce to you our featured guest of the evening, and his name is William DRAVEN. But before we get to William, I would like to make a couple of announcements before we move on. And next week, you probably noticed that I'm going to be doing 2 episodes, one on Thursday and one on Friday. Thursday was a late addition because my good friend, Nathaniel Siegel, is going to be making his national debut on Penn and Teller's Foolish. So we wanted to have him drop by before he makes his debut. So I can't wait to have him so he could give us a glimpse of what to expect on his episode next week, Friday, on Penn and Teller. And also on Friday, I'm doing a different kind of episode, and it's called Theory and Philosophy. And we're going to have corporate presenter Braden Daniels. He's probably out there watching. So if you're out and you're not doing anything that Friday, please tune in, because what he's going to be talking about is the magician archetype and how it relates to our everyday lives. And I think, this presentation is going to be a bit different, and it's also going to be quite intriguing, to say the least. So thank you once again for coming out. And I'm just going to pull up a few. I see Dan is out there. Hi, Dan. How are you doing? And also, Stephen, that's my good friend. I miss you so much, and I can't wait to have the Magic Castle come back live so that we can all get together again. And then Nick is there as well. Hi, Nick. And tomorrow, if you guys are free, Friday, we're doing Buddy 8, which is a fundraiser and a benefit magic show on BuddyCast. So I'll be headlining tomorrow, and there are going to be plenty of other magicians there sharing some magic. I wanted to start tonight off with a video I made about a year ago. And it's something that I don't normally get to show people, but some of you out there may have seen it, but not all of you have. It's called The Magic Book. And I wanted to share a little bit about my inspiration behind it. When I was a little kid, my grandmother used to tell me stories about how, folklore stories about how this man had this magic book. And with this magic book, he could fly and also do other magical things. And as you can imagine, as a young boy, my imagination really sparked with the idea. But she never got to see this sort of routine before. But she passed away many years ago, even before I was doing magic on stage. But this performance piece is dedicated to her and her stories, and I hope all of you enjoy out there. So please enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a little bit of technical issues with the video, so there might be a delay. So I'm watching on my phone when the video finishes. So if you see me here not talking for a couple of seconds, it's because of that. But I'm glad you were able to at least see the video, and that was called The Magic Book. And so, ladies and gentlemen, well, before I get into that, I did see Raven out there. And I wanted to say that they are also starting a live stream that's going to be called Dual Reality, and they're going to be interviewing specifically virtual magicians. So tune in for that. And they're also throwing a show together coming up on the 27th. So follow Raven and Miggs, and you will not be disappointed by the show that they have. And so it leads me to our featured guest. This featured guest has been kind enough to join us tonight, and you may know who this person is. His name is William DRAVEN, and he's been featured on Masters of Illusion on the CW, and also the Late Late Show on James Corden. He's performed at the Magic Castle, Jeff McBride's Wonderground, and he is also a producer, amongst many other things. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, and your threes in the comments for our featured guest, William DRAVEN.
Hey!
And so, William, welcome to the show, my friend DRAVEN. It's good having you. I can't hear you. Is your sound on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Wonderful, my friend. So I met DRAVEN on Nathan Fan's open mic night, and I seen you do an illusion that just blew me away, especially on virtual. So I am honored to have you here, my friend. How are you tonight on this Thursday?
Oh, thank you so much for having me out here. I've been a huge fan of your work for quite some time, and when I saw you in Nathan's room and we just connected, I was just, oh my God, I had to come here. So thank you for having me. I'm doing fantastic. Out here in Las Vegas, I'm 1 shot into 2 shots of a vaccine. So I'm itching to get the second one to put this nightmare behind me.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I think, we were talking before the show. it's kind of good that we're kind of almost there to getting back to live, and I really, really hope that we can do that. You know, I'm a frequent visitor of Vegas, so I'd love to meet you in person. But, you know, the great thing about the virtual platform is that I'm able to meet people like yourself in different parts of the world, and I'm thankful for that. Draven, I would like I got so many questions for you because because if you look on your website, thewilliamdraven.com,
Yes.
your background is just extensive, and you just encompass a lot of magic. But with where you're at now as a performer, there's always an origin story. So I'm interested, how did you get into magic amongst all the things that you're involved in? What is your story, Draven?
Oh my Lord. Okay, so let's go back to 1983. The first thing about magic is that I've been involved in magic longer than I've been out of diapers. So in 1983, I was like 2 years old. David Copperfield banished the Statue of Liberty on national television. And this is one of my earliest memories, is watching that special on TV with my family, sitting in the living room, experiencing magic for the very first time in my life. And I didn't understand how this worked. So I asked my mom and my dad, I said, how does this happen? How? And my parents, who normally would answer my questions very honestly, replied, magicians don't tell their secrets. Yes. And that infuriated me. I'm like, I gotta know. So I figured if I have to become a magician. So I asked Santa Claus that year, if I remember correctly, I asked him for a magic kit, and it was a Fisher Price kit. It was a little, well, in my memory, it was a huge steamer trunk, but I was like 2 years old. But it was designed to look like a steamer trunk. And it had all these stickers from all over the world on it, and you'd open doors and pull slides out. I mean, it was probably one of the most basic magic tricks sets you could get a kid. But I loved the hell out of that thing. Yes. And you know, that it was a hobby, and then it turned into a passion. And then when I was 15, before I could technically drive, it turned into a career. I pitched my local Little Caesars pizza parlor in my hometown the idea of doing a summer magic pizza campaign where I would deliver the pizzas with a driver. I'd do a little 2-minute, 3-minute magic show at the doorstep with the pizzas. Oh, wow. And for a 15-year-old working strictly on tips, yes, I made bank.
When you earned it, you definitely would earn it in that way.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a question that you brought up a good point. You took it from a hobby, and then you started going professional. Now, I know you're best known as the mental illusionist. Could you describe that, and what was the inspiration behind that? How did you know this was the kind of magic that you wanted to get into?
I enjoy the cerebral aspect of magic. I for many years been a jack of all trades, but I really enjoyed the mental aspects. I mean, Dan Brown is probably one of my heroes. Yeah. Paul Draper is another hero. Yeah. Paul Kresge, hero. Yeah. And I love that connection, because there's no place more sacred than the human mind. Right. And if you can get inside somebody's head and take up residency, even for just a few seconds, there is nothing more visceral, more violating, than having somebody read your thoughts and I don't want to say play with your emotions, because I try to not play with those things. I honor them. I take that very seriously. But to have that connection with somebody where it's you and them, and it's a lot better than pick a card trick, man. Right.
Now, Draven, you've been featured on Masters of Illusion, and the Late Late Show with James Corden, and amongst other things.
Sure.
So how would you say, what was your process like to get involved in those big projects? I mean, as a magician, a lot of us out there strive for something like that, and you've achieved a lot already. What was your process like? I mean, how much practice and rehearsal did it take to get you to that point?
Well, practicing and rehearsing is beside the point. I believe Harry Blackstone Jr. said it best when he said, practice until a trick becomes boring, and then practice it until it becomes perfect.
Oh, well said.
And I'm never not working on my art. I'm constantly evolving different elements for the different shows and the different venues that I typically work within. As far as getting cast on those TV shows, I'm annoying. I am very blessed to know a few producers, and I kept staying on top of that every second I got, and persistence. Yeah. Submitting videos, catching them, at the right times, begging to buy them dinner just so I can have 10 minutes of their time, and just being persistent. I mean, I'll put it this way. There's no one that can live your dream other than you. So if you have a goal for yourself, if you have a dream for yourself, get out there and do it. And don't let somebody stand in your way. There's plenty of people that'll tell you can't do it. Prove them all wrong. Yeah,
it's well said, DRAVEN. I think that goes for a lot of arts, where persistence really is something that we really have to implement in this business, because there's thousands of us trying to do the one gig that we all want. Now, DRAVEN, I've seen you do illusions. You're a mental illusionist. I've watched your videos doing escapes. And you also do, I don't know, nearing the bizarre style of magic as well. But you also do sleight of hand. Am I right?
Oh, you are very right. I started with sleight of hand. I was a close-up magician long before I was able to do anything else. So if you don't mind, I would like to share with everyone a routine that is very near and dear to my heart. This is a routine that was taught to me by my first mentor in magic, God rest his soul, Dave Johnson. Dave's Balloons and Magic in Troy, Ohio. He just passed of cancer here in January. And I still have my original set of coins that I bought from him as a 15-year-old. Wow. So if I can, I'd like to share this with you guys.
Please. And you have a lot of viewers out there, my friend. I'll keep a low screen there, DRAVEN, so everyone can see you.
Oh, perfect. All right, good. I'm going to work on this camera right here, guys. I hope you can see this. So this is one of my favorite routines because this is a gambling routine. This is what I was known for in high school. And I'm also the reason why they're not allowed to play cards or dice or other gambling games in high school as well, because I made too much money at lunch with this basic game. It's called How Many, and it's a really simple game. You start with two objects. Now, I use coins because I like the idea that money is intrinsically tied into this, what is going to be a betting game. Some people use little peas. Some people use erasers. Hell, in high school, we used little rubber bouncy balls you got out of the gumball machines for 50 cents. I don't know if those are even a thing anymore. But for this purpose, we're going to use coins. Now, there are two of them. There is a there's a silver coin. There's a copper coin. That way, you just can distinguish the two coins from each other. Now, there are two coins, but there's one question. That question is, if I put one of those coins in the pocket, how many coins remain in the hand?
One.
And a lot of people guess one. And you know what? You wouldn't be wrong if it wasn't a crooked game. I told you it's a betting game. There are two coins. That's how this works. There'll always be two coins, one copper, one silver. So let's try that again. I mean, now that you know how to play, I guess it's a little bit more fair to give you another chance. So watch carefully, okay?
Okay.
Keep your eye on those coins. Watch carefully as we take one coin and put it into the pocket. Now, look, I can't be any more fair than that.
Right.
How many coins are in the hand?
One coin in the hand.
You are slow today, my friend. There are two coins. That's copper and silver. I told you that's how it's done. It uses two coins. Look, I like you, all right? I like you, so I'm going to help you out. Keep your eye on the silver coin. Look, I'm going to carefully, meticulously, gently put it in the pocket. And if my microphone is good enough, you might even hear it jingle as it goes down in. Now watch. One coin right here in the hand. Look, I cannot be any more fair than that, can I?
Yep, you're fair.
Here's the question. How many coins are in the hand?
I want to say one, but but I'm suspicious. One, Draven, one.
You didn't catch the hint, did you? I tapped my wrist with two fingers because there's two coins. I'm trying to help you out here, brother.
Oh my gosh, two.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a Vegas thing. Look, all right. Numbers confuse people. I understand. I want you to get this right. So I'll tell you what, let's not worry about numbers. Let's worry about colors, all right? Colors are a little bit easier to work with. So there's copper and silver. All you have to do is tell me what color you want.
Copper.
Copper. Ooh, I like you. I like you. Okay, so we will leave the silver coin behind. You want copper, so let's jettison that copper coin. Okay, there it is. There's copper, right?
Yes.
Watch as that goes into the pocket. My hands are not going to go anywhere near each other. That goes into the pocket.
Okay.
How many coins are in the hand?
Two.
Very good. Now let this serve as a lesson to you. If I were you, I would do this.
Oh man, bravo. Draven, everyone. Draven. Please, a round of applause for his sleight of hand. If you press your threes in the comments, I'm sure he appreciates it. Just to let you know, Draven, we got a lot of people out there watching you right now.
Oh, fantastic. No pressure.
Well, that's why I told you after the fact. Micah Cobra says, bravo. Junius Swain says, good job. And I can't keep up with the number threes going out there. So,
hey, Frank, good to see you.
And even my sister says 3-3.
Fantastic.
I truly appreciate that. I have a deep appreciation for sleight of hand, because that is something that I know that you put hours and hours that you put in. Sure. And, you know, I just love the way you presented that. And, you know, I've seen your other acts, but this one kind of gives me a different feel. This was your first love in magic, you said, sleight of hand?
Yes. So as a 15-year-old, my hometown, Troy, Ohio, had a magic shop called Dave's Balloons and Magic, run by this eccentric old magician named Dave Johnson. Now, I remember Dave being old when I was young. So, I mean, you know, we always maintained between me and him that if the good die young, he's going to live forever.
Yes.
And that was kind of the running joke all the way to the bitter end. Yes. God rest his soul. So I remember as a young teenager going into his magic shop after school would let out and spending hours into that shop until he'd finally kick me out and send me home, just studying him as he would do routines.
Yes.
And he really refined a lot of my early sleight of hand, basic card control, basic shuffling stuff. I bought a book from him called, I'm sure everyone's heard of this book. If you haven't, I get out of the chat. But it's Mark Wilson's Complete Course in Magic.
Oh, of course.
One of the Bibles, that and Tarbell. So
that's Stephen Becker. He's a good job.
Right. I love you, Steve. Thank you. And White Star is one of my favorites too. So he would work with me on that book, and we would just go through chapter by chapter. And I think my senior project was presenting the Ghost House illusion that he helped me build from the back of Mark Wilson's book in the Grand Illusion chapter.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't even know how we got on this tangent, but yes, many happy hours.
Well, aside from being a performer, I also know that you are a producer of many shows. And so going from performer to producer, how did you make that transition? I know that you're an anime. Is it correct to say that you're an anime supporter? You do myths, legends of burlesque and magic, which is something that you do at a convention. Yes. How did you get into the production of magic shows?
That's a great question. I worked for 2 decades for the SBJA, the society that promotes Japanese animation out of Orange County, California. They produce and put on the anime convention, Anime Expo, which is the largest anime convention in the U.S. It's Comic-Con for weeps, essentially, otaku. I was their game room manager for 15 years. And finally, I had convinced them, after many, many years of trying to get them to buy the idea, that the convention needed alternative night programming that was something different than panels and voice actors, because we have a diverse enough audience that they demand something special. So I said, let me do a magic show. And they're like, well, okay, you've got the credentials for it. So they handed me the reins on it. And about 2 months out from executing the convention, they called me up and said, hey, we were going to do a burlesque show as well. Our producer for the burlesque show bailed on us last minute. Do you know anything about burlesque?
Yeah.
And I said, sure, I know everything. And they said, great, then incorporate that element into your show.
Yeah.
And we hung up the phone, and I realized I just lied through my teeth. I have no idea what burlesque is.
Well, and that's how you got into it. But sometimes that's a great lesson, Draven. Sometimes you have to go outside of your box, and in those moments, you might surprise yourself. And I think here you're a great example of it. And once again, I'm just gonna pop your website here.
Sure.
Take a look at William Draven's website, and you will see the amount of experience he has outside of performing, which I admire a lot. And you also do, I'm not sure if they're still broadcasting. Is it a show called Don't Blink? Is that something that you're involved in? Could you tell us about that?
Sure. So the producers of Masters of Illusion had an idea to do another spin-off show focused on street magic. It's called Don't Blink. It was on the Pop Network. It filmed in 2014. I want to say aired 2015, summer, spring 2015. Yeah. And there were I want to say probably 19 or so magicians and about 10 or a dozen or so of us that were fairly staple used throughout the entire season. A buddy of mine, Nathan Fan, was on that show. Pretty sure Ed Alonzo was on that show. Greg Leeson, I'm pretty sure, was on that show. There was a lot of really insane talent that they brought in. But it was street magic. It was like traditional in-your-face street magic. And one of my favorite scenes we shot at Universal Studios Hollywood on City Walk, and I happened to be working for Universal at the time. So as an employee for Universal, you're not allowed to go into hot sets because you can get in trouble for that.
Right.
And I was on set filming, and one of my production aides saw me on set talking to some of the cameramen, and they radioed the entertainment base. And I had 2 managers and a security guard come out there and try and pull me off set because I wasn't supposed to be on a hot set, fraternizing with the crew. And I I think I kind of shocked them more than I shocked myself. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be here. I'm an act, man. Come on.
Right.
So, but it was a lot of fun. It was street magic. My hopping halves, I'm pretty sure I did on that show.
Yeah.
I did this fusion coffee stick stir fusion thing on the show. Bones, I think it was called. If I'm not mistaken, it was a I'm drawing a blank on it. I think it was a Paul Harris routine, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of really talented stuff.
So I have to ask, Draven, so, what after COVID and when things start going live, I know there's a lot of virtual shows going on, but looking forward, is there anything that you have in the works that you can give us a glimpse about, or something that may be occurring once we start going back into live entertainment? Do you have any? Yeah.
And if there's virtual shows going on and anyone interpreting you as yourself know how to get me on those shows, reach out and throw a man a bone, guys. I'm getting rusty and dusty here. I would, please give me work. I don't care if it's free. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But 2022, this coming January, at the end of this year, in Los Angeles, California, Anime LA, which is one of my anime projects, is going live again. They're planning on doing a huge welcome back convention. And I will be producing another installment of Myth, Legends of Burlesque and Magic for that convention center. We're bringing in some large grand illusions. We're bringing in a floating box. We're bringing in a spiker. We're bringing in, I'm going to stack the house full of talent. If you have worked with me before, like Nathan Fan, I don't know if he's here. I know a good buddy of mine, Daniel Gastelum.
Yes.
I'll be reaching out to so many people because we are all excited to get on the other side of COVID, and it's going to be a welcome back to society type of an experience.
Well, I put up a little banner here, Anime LA, and just to let everyone know that'll be happening in 2022.
January 2022.
Okay, January 2022, and they could find you on williamdraven.com.
Yep.
And they could look you up. But also, you're on social media, so I want to go over that before anything else.
Sure.
So you're on William Draven as well, and Facebook.
Yep.
Okay, great. So, Draven, I have to ask you, I wish I could talk to you all night because I know that we could have a plentiful conversation here, but I would like to invite you back on a new episode because I think you're the perfect candidate for it. It's called Theory and Philosophy, and I would love to have you on to share some of your thoughts behind your philosophies in magic, or just simply your approach in magic.
I would be honored.
As a performer and a producer and someone who's been on national television, is there any advice that you would give to anyone out there starting in magic?
If you're just starting out, you're going to run into a lot of people who don't share the same dreams and aspirations as you do. It could be your family members. It could be your best friends. It could be a coworker. It could be a boss. And you can't let the negativity get to you. Yeah. When you are putting yourself out there, you're going to get told no a lot. And even to this day, I get told no a lot by people with whom I hold in the highest esteems. Mm-hmm. And it hurts. Rejection hurts. Doesn't matter if you're new to the game or you've been doing it. You can't let it get to you. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep believing in yourself, even if no one else does. And don't give up. You know, you've got one life. You've got one shot in this life. Live it. And if what you do tomorrow is different from what you do today, then believe in what you're doing tomorrow, just as you believe in what you're doing today. There's no wrong way, man. There's just your way, and seize the moment.
I think that is a good prelude and some summary to advice for anyone out there, or even people just out there actually doing it as professionals. Sometimes we need to be reminded. And thank you, Draven, for that, your thoughts. I have to ask you, it's almost tradition here, Draven, to leave the audience with a positive or thought or message. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with tonight?
I would like to say it with some magic.
Thank you.
The following life story is exactly that. A story about life, about us. Who are we? What defines us? I believe that we are defined by our hopes, our dreams, and our memories. Just as this wooden frame encompasses all these pieces of this ancient puzzle, so too do we store all of our defining elements perfectly inside of us, leaving no room for anything else. Each part of the puzzle represented a different aspect of the human mind. The yearning for freedom, the love of a gentle breeze that blows against our face. Perhaps true love's first kiss. Maybe the love of a home-cooked meal, or maybe the memories of a loved one tragically departed too soon. Or maybe the joyous anticipation of our favorite holiday as it comes up. You see, there are people that say that it takes a lifetime to master the game of life and to ultimately find oneself. And the good news for us is that we will not have to wait nearly as long, because it is enough for us to know that we will always be whole once again. But that's when life catches up to us and challenges us and presents to us a unique opportunity to change our perspective. Suddenly order turns into chaos as we don't think we have room to take on what life is offering. But as we learn to accept ourselves and embrace the change, we begin to learn certain truths about ourselves. And suddenly, what seemed like it shouldn't fit at all almost seems like it should have been there the entire time. But we shouldn't take these moments of peace for granted, because life likes to catch up to us and challenge us once again, this time with a larger, more difficult situation. But by now, you and me, know exactly what to do. And we find it much easier to bring our lives back into focus. And just as this puzzle contains all these pieces of the alchemy of life, so too are we filled to our very existence by all the elements that define us, leaving no room for anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in your walk of life, my name is William Draven, and I wish you the best in success as you solve your own puzzle of life. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you so much, Draven. Ladies and gentlemen, that was William Draven. Please, a round of applause. Draven, I can't tell you how fortunate I am to have seen that illusion. A wonderful message and a wonderful end to tonight. It has been my honor to have you, my friend, and I'm wishing everyone, I'm just so touched right now. that I'm wishing everyone well tonight, and I hope that they enjoyed that piece as much as I did. So thank you so much, Draven. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've been blessed with a very fortunate illusion, and I can't say enough about this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Heron as Faust. This is Draven, and we wish you a good night.
Thank you all. Good night.